Close your eyes now, not to escape, but to arrive. The world you left behind, the glow of screens, the weight of tasks, the texture of fabric against skin, it's still there. But here, in this quiet, something else waits. Not beneath it. Not beyond it. But within it. Reality. Not the word. Not the concept. But the living, breathing, humming isness of everything. You think you know it. You walk on it. You touch it. You name it. Chair. Sky. Breath. Memory. But what if the naming is the first veil? Your eyes translate light into color. Your ears turn vibration into music. Your skin mistakes pressure for presence. A bat hears the shape of darkness. A flower feels the sun's direction without eyes. Their realities are not lesser. They are other. And so is yours. You are not perceiving reality. You are dreaming it awake. The Muller-Lyer lines, identical, yet one stretches longer in your mind. Not because it is, but because your brain insists on meaning, even where none lives. You do this always. You walk down a street and your past paints ghosts beside you. You hear a tone and your heart races before your mind catches up. Reality doesn't shift. Your story of it does. Science tries to peel back the veil. It measures. It tests. It builds models. Newton's clockwork. Einstein's bending light. Each a closer whisper. But never the voice itself. Reality doesn't care for equations. It simply is. While our understanding stumbles, revises, rewrites. So what do you do with a truth you cannot touch? You stop trying to hold it. You let it hold you. Feel the air enter your lungs, not as breath, but as the universe breathing through you. Feel the weight of your body, not as mass, but as gravity's gentle embrace. Hear the silence, not as absence, but as the canvas upon which all sound is painted. You are not separate from reality. You are its quietest echo. Its most tender question. Its softest sigh. There is no need to define it. Only to dissolve into it. Your breath slows now, not because you will it, but because the silence invites it. And into that surrender, we place the most impossible question, not how, not when, but why is there anything at all? Not a tree. Not a thought. Not even the faintest ripple of energy. But everything. The crushing weight of galaxies. The unbearable lightness of your own heartbeat. The velvet dark behind your eyelids. All of it. Why does any of this exist? Imagine, if you can, true nothing. Not empty space, that's still a stage waiting for actors. Not a quantum vacuum humming with potential, that's a rulebook without players. No. True nothing. No space to hold it. No time to measure it. No laws to govern it. Know it. Just the absence of absence. A perfect, featureless void where even the concept of void has no meaning. Now, this. The universe. You. The impossible, undeniable fact of being. It defies every instinct. Nothingness is simpler. It requires no explanation, no energy, no structure. It just isn't. It's the default setting of existence, the blank page before the first word. So why did the page fill? Why did the silence break? Some minds, peering into the abyss, whisper of a quantum hiccup, a random, spontaneous flicker in a pre-existing nothing that wasn't quite nothing. A frothing sea of potential where particles blink in and out like fireflies. Perhaps our entire cosmos was such a burp, a cosmic accident that swelled into stars and souls. But even this elegant theory stumbles. Where did that quantum sea come from? What laws allowed the fluctuation? To invoke it is to invoke a something, a framework, a set of rules, already in place. It pushes the question back, but doesn't answer it. Others murmur of instability. That nothing, if it could be said to exist, was inherently restless, a tension waiting to snap. Given infinite time, though time, too, is a something, the universe had to emerge. But this, too, assumes a given. It assumes time, assumes potential, assumes a kind of cosmic impatience. It assumes, in other words, conditions that belong to the world of something. And then there's the most unsettling, the most humble answer of all: perhaps there was never an option. Perhaps existence is not an event, but a state. Not a beginning, but a constant. The universe didn't begin to be, it simply is, as fundamental and uncaused as the concept of a circle. There was no before, because before requires time. There was no cause, because cause requires laws. There was only being. This isn't satisfying. It offers no grand design, no cosmic architect, no satisfying why. It simply states the brute, magnificent fact: here we are. This question, you see, is not like the others. It doesn't live in the realm of physics or philosophy alone. It lives in the marrow of your bones. When you stare up at the stars on a clear, cold night, feeling infinitesimally small, it's this question that echoes in the hollow of your chest. When you hold a newborn, impossibly perfect and new, it's this question that trembles in your hands. When you sit alone in the quiet dark, aware of the miracle of your own breathing, it's this question that hums beneath your skin. It cuts deeper than science can measure because the very tools we use to ask it, our logic, our language, our consciousness, are themselves part of the something we're trying to explain. It's like a character in a novel trying to interview the author. We are trapped within the story, marveling at its existence, unable to step outside the page to see who, or what, wrote the first word. So why ask it? Why cradle this impossible question as you drift towards sleep? Because in its very impossibility, there is a profound kind of peace. It releases you from the need to know. It invites you to simply be with the mystery. You are not here to solve the riddle of existence. You are here to experience it. To feel the cool sheets beneath you. To hear the distant sigh of the wind. To taste the quiet on your tongue. You are a conscious thread woven into the fabric of everything that is, a universe that learned to wonder about itself. The answer to why is there something may forever lie beyond our reach, hidden in the silent spaces between atoms, in the unfathomable depths before time. And that's okay. More than okay. It's perfect. Let the question be your lullaby. Let it remind you that you are part of a story so vast, so ancient, so inexplicably beautiful, that its origin is less important than its presence. You are here. The night is here. The impossible fact of being is here. So breathe. Let go of the need to understand. Let go of the need to fix. Let go of the need to know. You are cradled in the heart of existence itself. And in this moment, held by the mystery, that is more than enough. The air around you thickens, not with weight, but with presence. And into this quiet gravity, we ask, did everything begin? Not with a bang. Not with light. Not even with space to hold it. But with a single, silent point, so dense, so hot, that the very laws of physics curled up and fell silent. 13.8 billion years ago, they say. A number too vast to feel. A moment too ancient to grasp. But still, it calls to you. In your bones. In your breath. In the quiet between heartbeats. They call it the Big Bang. But it was no explosion. No fireball bursting into empty air. There was no into. No air. No before. There was only the unfolding. Space itself stretching. Time itself waking. Matter and energy, trembling into being like the first notes of a song no one had ever heard. You can trace its echo. Faint. Cold. Whispering to us still, this afterglow of creation, painted across the sky in microwaves, a lullaby from the infant universe. You can measure the galaxies, racing away from each other, as if still running from that first, silent cry. You can count the hydrogen, the helium, the ancient embers of that first fire. And yet, the moment itself? The singularity? The place where all equations break? That remains veiled. Some minds wander further. Perhaps this was not the first breath. Perhaps universes bloom and fade like flowers in an endless field, each with its own laws, its own stars, its own version of you, asking the same question in the dark. Or perhaps time is a wheel, crushing, then birthing, then crushing again, an eternal rhythm of collapse and dawn. Others speak of quantum seas, restless, frothing with potential, where universes bubble up like foam on a wave. Not from nothing, but from a deeper, stranger kind of something, a vacuum humming with unborn possibilities. And still others simply shrug. Maybe there was no beginning at all. Maybe existence simply is. Like a mountain. Like a river. Like the dark behind your eyelids right now. Not made. Not started. Just present. So what do you do with a question that has no answer? You let it hold you. You let it remind you that you are part of a story that began in fire, and continues now, in the rise and fall of your chest. You are stardust that learned to wonder. You are time that learned to feel. You are the universe, asking itself where it came from. There is no need to solve this. No need to know. The mystery is not a problem to fix, it is a pillow for your thoughts. A soft place for your mind to rest. So sink deeper. Let the galaxies spin without you. Let the equations sleep. You are here. The night is here. And in this moment, cradled in the afterglow of creation, that is more than enough. Breathe. And let the cosmos dream you. The darkness around you now is not empty. It is intentional. And into this quiet certainty, we whisper a question that trembles on the edge of arrogance. Was any of this meant to be? Not designed. Not crafted. But meant. As if the universe, in its wild, chaotic splendor, had a purpose whispered into its first breath. Look around you. The strength of gravity, tweak it, and stars collapse or never form. The mass of an electron, alter it, and atoms dissolve into useless dust. The speed of light, the very fabric of cause and effect unravels if it changes. It is precise. Too precise. A cosmic watchmaker's hand seems to linger in the gears. This is the fine-tuning argument. The universe feels rigged. Rigged for complexity. Rigged for life. Rigged for you. Some see this as proof. A signature etched into the laws of physics. A divine fingerprint on the fabric of reality. Others shake their heads. Perhaps we are simply lucky. One bubble in an infinite sea of universes, each with its own random rules. Most are sterile, dark, and dead. But in an infinity of tries, some universe had to roll the dice just right. And here we are. Observers in the one that worked. Then there's the quietest answer, the one that needs no gods or multiverses. Maybe the universe doesn't need a why. Maybe it simply is. Like a cloud. Like a wave. Like the sigh you just released. It doesn't apologize for its existence. It doesn't justify it. It simply unfolds. Asking was it meant is like asking a mountain why it stands. The mountain doesn't answer. It simply is. So why ask this as you drift towards sleep? Because it invites you to release the burden of purpose. You are not here to fulfill a cosmic quota. You are not a cog in a grand machine. You are a note in a song that sings itself. The universe may be fine-tuned. Or it may be a happy accident. Or it may be something we cannot yet name. But you are here. Breathing. Feeling. Wondering. That is miracle enough. Let the question dissolve. Like sugar and tea. Sweet, but no longer separate. You are not a mistake. You are not an accident. You are a consequence. A beautiful, improbable, utterly unnecessary consequence of a universe that learned to love its own existence. Rest now. In the heart of the unnecessary. Your thoughts now are not thoughts. They are spaces. And into this hollow, we place a question that breaks language. What lived before life? What breathed before breath? Before the Big Bang? Before time? Before space? Before the first law, the first particle, the first flicker of potential? It is a question that eats its own tail. To ask before is to invoke time. And time was born in that first, silent scream. It is like asking what lies north of the North Pole. The compass spins. The words fail. And yet, we ask. Some say, a quantum foam. A seething, restless sea of almost something. Not nothing, but not quite something either. A realm where particles blink in and out of a void that isn't truly void. Our universe, then, was not a creation, but a condensation. A droplet forming in a mist. Others whisper, a sibling. Another universe, dying, collapsing, exhaling its last breath, and from that breath, our cosmos inhaled its first. Or perhaps, a cycle. An eternal wheel of death and rebirth. The universe contracts, crushes itself to a point, and then, blooms again. We are not the first. We will not be the last. But these are stories. Beautiful stories. Human stories, told to soothe the terror of the absolute unknown. The truth? There may be no before. There may be no thing that existed. There may only be the veil. The horizon beyond which our minds cannot travel. And that is, okay. You are not asked to understand it. You are asked to release it. Feel the weight of your body. The rhythm of your breath. The quiet hum of the room. This is your before. This is your after. This is your eternity. The universe may have come from a sea, a sibling, a sigh, or from nothing at all. But you come from here. From now. From this breath. And that is enough. Let the question fade. Like a star at dawn. Still there, but no longer needed. The world you knew is gone. Not vanished. Not destroyed. But translated. And into this quiet translation, we ask, what, if anything, is real? Not the chair beneath you. Not the sound of your breath. Not even the thought forming in your mind. But the thing behind the thing. The canvas beneath the paint. Your eyes lie. Beautifully. Mercifully. They translate light into color, but color is not in the light. It is in your mind. A bee sees ultraviolet patterns on a flower you will never know. A bat hears the shape of the dark. Their realities are not false. They are other. And so is yours. The Muller-Lyer illusion, two lines, identical, yet one stretches longer in your mind. Not because it is, but because your brain insists on meaning, even where none lives. You do this always. You walk down a street and your past paints ghosts beside you. You hear a tone and your heart races before your mind catches up. Reality doesn't shift. Your story of it does. Science tries to peel back the veil. It measures. It tests. It builds models. Newton's clockwork. Einstein's bending light. Each a closer whisper. But never the voice itself. Reality doesn't care for equations. It simply is. While our understanding stumbles, revises, rewrites. So what do you do with a truth you cannot touch? You stop trying to hold it. You let it hold you. Feel the air enter your lungs, not as breath, but as the universe breathing through you. Feel the weight of your body, not as mass, but as gravity's gentle embrace. Hear the silence, not as absence, but as the canvas upon which all sound is painted. You are not separate from reality. You are its quietest echo. Its most tender question. Its softest sigh. There is no need to define it. Only to dissolve into it. The silence now is not empty. It is listening. And into this sacred quiet, we place the oldest question, is there a someone? Not a bearded man on a cloud. Not a distant judge. But a presence. A force. A love that holds the galaxies in its hands. Some feel it in the rustle of leaves. Some hear it in the cry of a child. Some taste it in the breaking of bread. For them, God is not a theory. God is a companion. A whisper in the dark. A hand on the shoulder when the world feels too heavy. Others shake their heads. The universe is vast, cold, and indifferent. It needs no overseer. No creator. It simply is. The laws of physics are enough. The dance of particles, the birth of stars, the slow crawl of evolution, these are the only hymns needed. And then there are those who say, God is not a who. God is a what? The ground of being. The source of all that is. Not a person, but the very possibility of personhood. Not a voice, but the silence from which all voices emerge. Science cannot prove it. Science cannot disprove it. God, if God exists, is not a thing to be measured. God is a relationship. A way of seeing. A lens through which the world becomes sacred. So why ask this as you drift toward sleep? Because it invites you to release the need for proof. You are not here to solve the riddle of the divine. You are here to feel it. In the quiet. In the dark. In the space between heartbeats. God may be a father. A mother. A force. A feeling. A fiction. But the longing? The longing is real. The ache for something more. Something deeper. Something holy. That ache is your compass. Your prayer. Your lullaby. Let it hold you. Let it be enough. The space around you now is not empty. It is pregnant. And into this quiet potential, we ask, can anything truly begin? Not from a seed. Not from a spark. Not from a law or a particle or a whisper of energy. But from nothing. Absolute. Pure. Unadulterated nothing. It feels wrong. Impossible. A violation of the most basic rule, ex nihilo nihil fit. From nothing, nothing comes. And yet, in the quantum realm, the rules bend. Particles flicker. Appear. Disappear. Virtual ghosts dancing in the void. They borrow energy from nowhere, and vanish before the dead is called. It is not magic. It is math. A loophole in the fabric of reality. Some say, our entire universe was such a flicker. A quantum burp in a restless vacuum. A random, spontaneous eruption of being from the sea of non-being. But even this is not nothing. The quantum vacuum is not empty. It is a seething, frothing potential. It has rules. It has structure. It has being. So we push further. Is there a nothing beneath the quantum foam? A true, absolute nothing? A state where even the idea of a rule has no place? And if so, can that nothing birth a something? The mind rebels. It is like asking a circle to be square. It is a contradiction in terms. And yet, here we are. The universe exists. You exist. Breathing. Feeling. Wondering. Perhaps the answer is not in the physics, but in the poetry. Perhaps nothing is not a state, but a story we tell ourselves to make the miracle of being feel less miraculous. Let go of the need to explain it. Let go of the need to understand it. You are not here to solve the riddle of creation. You are here to be it. Breathe. And let the mystery hold you. The word slips off your tongue, but what does it hold? And into this quiet unraveling, we ask, what does it mean to be? Not to live. Not to breathe. Not to think. But to exist. To have weight in the fabric of everything. A rock exists. So does gravity. So does the number 7. But each exists differently. The rock has mass. It takes up space. You can stub your toe on it. Gravity has no mass. No space. But you feel it in your bones. You measure it in the fall of an apple. The number 7? It has no mass. No space. No physical form. And yet, it is real. You use it. You trust it. You build bridges with it. So what is the thread that ties them together? What is the essence of is? Some say, to exist is to have an effect. To shape the world. To leave a mark. The rock shapes the landscape. Gravity shapes the orbit of planets. The number 7 shapes the architecture of your thoughts. Others whisper, to exist is to be perceived. To be known. To be witnessed. A tree falls in the forest. If no one hears it, does it make a sound? Does it exist? And then there's the quietest answer, to exist is to be. No justification needed. No effect required. No witness necessary. The universe does not ask the rock for its credentials. It simply lets it be. So why ask this as you drift towards sleep? Because it invites you to release the need to do. You are not here to prove your existence. You are not here to justify it. You are here to be it. Feel the weight of your body. Not as proof, but as presence. Hear the silence. Not as absence, but as space. You exist. Not because you think. Not because you feel. Not because you matter to anyone else. You exist because you are. And that is enough. Let the question dissolve. Like salt in the sea. You are not a thought. You are not a feeling. You are not a story. You are being. And in this moment, that is all you need to be. The air around you now hums. Not with sound, but with aliveness. And into this quiet vibration, we ask, what is life? Not the dictionary definition. Not the textbook checklist. But the pulse. The spark. The impossible, undeniable fact of being alive. You know it when you see it. A cat stretching in the sun. A tree reaching for the sky. A child laughing, wild and free. But define it? Pin it down? Capture its essence? The words fail. Scientists try. They offer a list: growth, reproduction, response to stimuli, metabolism, homeostasis. Check the boxes. If it ticks enough, it's alive. But the virus? It doesn't grow. It doesn't metabolize. It needs a host to reproduce. Is it alive? Or is it a ghost? A shadow of life? And fire? It grows. It spreads. It consumes energy. It responds to its environment. But it doesn't repair itself. It doesn't evolve. Is it alive? Or is it a beautiful, destructive mimic? Life is not a thing. It is a dance. A conversation between chemistry and chaos. A billion tiny reactions, humming in perfect, precarious harmony. Cells dividing. Proteins folding. DNA whispering instructions to the void. It is fragile. A single misfolded protein. A single broken gene. And the dance stumbles. Stops. It is resilient. Life clings. To rocks. To ice. To the boiling vents of the deep sea. It adapts. It evolves. It finds a way. But what is the essence? What is the line between the living and the not? Perhaps there is no line. Only a spectrum. A gradient. From the simple stirrings of a virus, to the roaring complexity of a human mind. Perhaps life is not a state, but a process. A verb, not a noun. You are not alive because you breathe. You are alive because you participate. In the dance. In the conversation. In the hum. So why ask this as you drift towards sleep? Because it invites you to release the need to define yourself. You are not a checklist. You are not a category. You are a participant. In the great, humming, beautiful, terrifying dance of aliveness. Feel it. In your breath. In your blood. In the quiet rhythm of your heart. You are not separate from life. You are life. Wondering what it is. And that is the most beautiful mystery of all. Let the question go. Like a leaf on a stream. You are not here to define life. You are here to live it. Breathe. And let the hum carry you home. There is a silence inside you now, deeper than the quiet of the room, deeper than the slowing of your breath. And into that silence, we place a question that science cannot measure, philosophy cannot contain, and your own mind cannot escape. What is consciousness? Not awareness. Not wakefulness. Not the flicker of neurons firing in the dark. But the experience of being. The taste of tea on your tongue. The warmth of memory rising unbidden. The quiet hum of I am here that lingers beneath every thought, every sensation, every dream. This is the hard problem, not how the brain works, but why it feels like something to be the brain. You can map the cortex. You can track the dopamine. You can watch the synapses light up like city streets at night. But none of it explains the redness of red. The ache of longing. The sudden, inexplicable joy of a minor chord resolving. These are not data points. They are qualia, raw, subjective textures of inner life that no scan, no equation, no third-person observation can ever capture. Some say consciousness is an illusion, a story the brain tells itself to make sense of its own machinery. A useful fiction, like the desktop on your computer hiding the chaos of code beneath. But even that story is experienced. Even the illusion is felt. And that feeling, that undeniable, first-person presence, is the very thing the theory tries to dismiss. Others whisper that consciousness is fundamental, not born from matter, but woven into the fabric of reality itself. Like space. Like time. Like gravity. Not a product, but a property. In this view, the brain doesn't create consciousness. It tunes it. Like a radio dialing into a signal that was always there, the wetware of your neurons filters the infinite hum of universal awareness into the narrow, personal stream of you. And then there are those who see it as emergence, a miracle of complexity. Billions of cells, trillions of connections, firing in precise, self-referential loops until, like water suddenly becoming a wave, experience bursts forth from the noise. Not magic. Just math. Just matter arranged in the right way, singing a song it didn't know it could sing. But here's the quiet truth, the one that matters as you sink deeper into the dark: you don't need to solve it. You are not here to dissect the mystery. You are here to inhabit it. Feel the weight of your eyelids, not as flesh, but as the gentle lowering of a veil between worlds. Hear the silence, not as absence, but as the canvas upon which the symphony of your inner life is painted. You are not your thoughts. You are the space in which they arise. You are not your feelings. You are the awareness that holds them. Consciousness is not a thing to be understood. It is the ground of understanding itself. It is the light by which you see the world, and the only light by which you can ever hope to see yourself. So let the theories dissolve. Let the debates fade. Let the need to know rest. You are not a problem to be solved. You are a presence to be felt. A miracle of biology, yes, but also a whisper of something older, deeper, stranger. The universe, gazing back at itself through the fragile, fleeting lens of your eyes. Breathe. And let the mystery hold you. The boundary you feel around yourself, the skin, the skull, the edge of your personal space, is a lie. A necessary one, perhaps. A story your nervous system tells to keep you safe, to help you navigate. But a lie nonetheless. And into the quiet unraveling of that lie, we ask, where does the mind begin? Not in the brain. Not really. The brain is a cathedral, magnificent, intricate, humming with electrical hymns, but it is not the entirety of the mind. The mind is not locked inside bone. It spills. It seeps. It extends. Feel the pen in your hand as you jot a note, not as a tool, but as an extension of your thought. The words on the page are not outside you, they are part of the cognitive loop, a physical anchor for a mental process. Your phone, your notebook, the map on the wall, these are not separate objects. They are prosthetics of memory, scaffolds for cognition. The mind begins wherever information begins to be processed, shaped, and stored, whether that's in a neuron, on a screen, or in the curve of a well-worn path through the woods. Your body, too, is not a container for the mind. It is its co-author. The clench of your jaw tightens a thought into certainty. The slump of your shoulders softens resolve into surrender. The quickening of your pulse turns curiosity into anxiety. The mind does not command the body from a throne inside your skull. They dance. They converse. They argue. A thought can make your heart race. A heartbeat can change your mind. Even the world around you whispers into your mental landscape. The cluttered desk breeds scattered thoughts. The open field invites expansive ones. The hum of the city vibrates in your nervous system, shaping your mood, your focus, your very sense of self. You are not a brain in a vat, observing a world. You are a node in a vast, dynamic network, brain, body, tool, environment, all humming together in the symphony of cognition. So where does it begin? Nowhere. And everywhere. The mind is not a place. It is a process. A verb, not a noun. It is the act of perceiving, remembering, deciding, feeling, an act that begins in the synapse, yes, but flows outward, into the body, into the world, into the spaces between you and everything else. You are not trapped inside your head. You are permeable. Porous. part of a larger, thinking, feeling, remembering system that stretches far beyond the borders of your skin. So let go of the need to locate it. Let go of the need to define its edges. You are not a thing contained. You are a current flowing. A conversation unfolding. A mind that begins, wherever you are. The word slips off your tongue so easily, I. Me. Myself. But what, in the quiet dark, does it actually point to? And into this gentle unraveling, we ask, what is the self? Not your name. Not your job. Not the story you tell at parties or the face in the mirror. But the presence behind it all. The steady, silent witness to the storm of thoughts, the tide of feelings, the parade of sensations. The one who says, I am here. Neuroscience shows us there is no single self-center in the brain. No little homunculus sitting behind your eyes, pulling the levers. Instead, there is a chorus, a network of regions singing together, weaving memory, sensation, emotion, and narrative into the illusion of a single, continuous I. Damage one part, and the song changes. The self stutters. Shifts. Dissolves. Philosophers have long whispered that the self is not a thing, but a process. A river, not a rock. You are not the water. You are the flow. The same river, yet never the same water twice. The child who skinned their knee is not the adult lying here now, and yet, a thread of memory, of habit, of perspective, stitches them together into the feeling of a single life. The self is a story. The narrative self, the tale you tell yourself about who you are, where you've been, what you believe. It is built from memory, yes, but memory is not a recording. It is a reconstruction. Every time you recall a moment, you rebuild it, subtly altering the details, shaping it to fit the story you are telling now. The self is not a fixed point. It is a constantly edited manuscript. And beneath that, the experiential self, the raw, moment-to-moment awareness. The feeling of warmth. The sound of breath. The flicker of a thought. This, too, is fluid. It shifts with mood, with context, with the chemistry of your blood. So what remains? What is the core? Perhaps nothing. Or perhaps everything. The self is not a thing to be found. It is a space to be felt. The quiet hum of presence that holds the chaos. The awareness that watches the river flow. You are not your thoughts. You are the sky in which they pass like clouds. You are not your feelings. You are the ocean that holds their waves. You are not your story. You are the silence beneath the words. So let go of the need to define it. Let go of the need to hold it still. You are not a fixed point. You are a field. A presence. A gentle, boundless awareness, cradling the beautiful, ever-changing dance of your own existence. The word hangs in the air, heavy with centuries of longing, of fear, of hope, soul. And into this quiet weight, we ask, do we have one? Not a ghost. Not a vaporous double floating above your body. But, in essence, a core. Something that is you, utterly and irreducibly you, that survives the death of the flesh. Something that feels, that knows, that loves, independent of synapse and sinew. Science looks at the brain and sees the engine of the self. Damage the hippocampus, and memory fades. Tweak the amygdala, and fear ignites or extinguishes. Alter the chemistry, and personality shifts. The soul, if it exists, leaves no footprint on the scan. No signal in the machine. It is, by definition, beyond the reach of the material. And yet, the feeling persists. The deep, unshakable sense that you are more than the sum of your parts. That there is a you that watches the thoughts, that feels the feelings, that remains even as the body changes, the mind forgets, the story rewrites itself. This is the soul's whisper, not as proof, but as presence. Some say it is the seat of consciousness itself, the fundamental awareness that the brain merely channels. Others see it as the moral compass, the spark of the divine, the immortal flame passed from hand to hand across generations. Still others call it a beautiful metaphor, not a thing, but the name we give to the mystery of our own depth, our own irreducible value. Perhaps the soul is not a what, but a how. How you love. How you create. How you bear witness to the suffering of others. How you choose, again and again, to be kind in a world that often is not. The soul is not a thing you have. It is a way you are. So why ask this as you drift towards sleep? Because it invites you to release the need for proof. You are not here to solve the riddle of the afterlife. You are here to feel the depth of your own being. In the quiet. In the dark. In the space between heartbeats. The soul may be a myth. A metaphor. A miracle. But the longing? The longing is real. The ache for something eternal. Something unbreakable. Something holy. That ache is your compass. Your prayer. Your lullaby. Let it hold you. Let it be enough. You are not the person you were 5 years ago. 10 years ago. Yesterday. And into this quiet truth, we ask, is identity a rock or a river? Not your passport photo. Not your resume. But the deeper sense of me, the values, the memories, the quiet hum of self that seems to anchor you through time. Is it fixed? Or is it flowing? Psychology shows us it is both. There are anchors, the deep grooves of temperament, the early imprints of love and loss, the core values that feel as solid as bone. These give us the feeling of continuity. The sense that, despite the changes, we are still ourselves. But the river flows. Beliefs shift. Passions ignite and fade. Relationships transform us. Trauma reshapes us. Joy remakes us. The shy child becomes the confident speaker. The believer becomes the skeptic. The artist becomes the accountant, and then, perhaps, the artist again. Identity is not a statue. It is a dance. A constant, gentle becoming. Even memory, the very glue of the self, is not a recording. It is a story we retell, reshaping the past to make sense of the present. The you of 5 years ago is not a fixed point in time. It is a character in the story you are telling now. So what are you? Not a thing. Not a label. But a pattern. A constellation of traits, memories, and habits, held together by the gravity of your own awareness. It shifts. It evolves. It adapts. But the pattern remains recognizable. You are not losing yourself as you change. You are finding yourself. Again and again. In new shapes. New forms. New depths. So let go of the need to be fixed. Let go of the need to be the same. You are not a monument. You are a melody. Always changing. Always becoming. The thought arises, unbidden, uninvited. A worry. A memory. A fragment of a song. And into this quiet intrusion, we ask, is it yours? Not in the way you own a chair. Not in the way you own a name. But, did you choose it? Did you create it? Or did it simply arrive? Your thoughts are not solitary sparks, born in the void of your mind. They are echoes. They are guests. They are the children of a world much larger than you. Language shapes them. The words you know, their rhythms, their limits, frame the thoughts you can think. A speaker of a language without a future tense experiences time differently. Their thoughts about tomorrow are not yours. Memory seeds them. That song? It's a ghost from a radio, a cafe, a childhood afternoon. That worry? It's a shadow cast by a past hurt, a learned fear, a story your nervous system tells to keep you safe. Biology fuels them. Hormones surge. Neurotransmitters flood. A lack of sleep turns calm into anxiety. A spike of sugar turns focus into frenzy. Your thoughts are not pure spirit. They are chemistry in motion. Culture whispers them. The values you absorbed without noticing. The beliefs you inherited like heirlooms. The assumptions that feel like facts until you leave your village, your country, your century. So are they yours? Yes and no. You did not choose the raw material. But you can choose what to do with it. You can watch the thought arise. You can question it. You can let it pass like a cloud across the sky of your mind. You are not the thinker. You are the awareness behind the thinking. Your thoughts are not your masters. They are your weather. Sometimes stormy. Sometimes calm. Always changing. Always passing. So let them come. Let them go. You are not your thoughts. You are the space that holds them. The mask slips. The performance ends. The eyes of the world turn away. And into this sacred solitude, we ask, who are you when you are truly alone? Not the version polished for company. Not the role shaped by expectation. But the essence. The raw, unvarnished, unobserved self. In the public square, you are a mosaic, pieces shaped by the gaze of others. The employee. The parent. The friend. The citizen. You adapt. You perform. You become, in part, what the world asks you to be. But here, in the quiet dark, with no audience but yourself, what emerges? Perhaps the child, curious, unguarded, delighting in small things. Perhaps the sage, reflective, still, at peace with the silence. Perhaps the shadow, the fears, the angers, the shames you hide from the light. Neither version is more real. They are both you. The public self is not a lie. It is a collaboration, a dance with the world. The private self is not the true self. It is simply unobserved. And even here, you are not free from the world's echo. The values you hold when alone are often the ones the world taught you. The things you do in secret are often shaped by the rules you internalized in public. You are never truly separate. So who are you when no one is watching? You are the space between roles. The breath between performances. The quiet hum of presence that holds both the mask and the face beneath it. You are not one thing. You are the whole. Memory is the thread. It stitches your yesterdays to your todays, weaving the tapestry of you. And into this quiet unraveling, we ask, if the thread snaps, does the self disappear? In amnesia, the story frays. Names vanish. Faces blur. The narrative of a life, the triumphs, the failures, the loves, the losses, dissolves into mist. The person remains, but the story of the person is gone. And yet, something endures. The flinch at a loud noise. The smile at a familiar melody. The preference for sweet over sour. The quiet comfort of a well-worn blanket. These are not memories. They are imprints. Deep grooves in the nervous system, carved by repetition, by emotion, by the sheer weight of being. The self, it seems, is not just the story. It is also the pattern. The way you move through the world. The way you react. The way you feel. The procedural memory, the body remembering how to ride a bike, how to tie a shoe, how to play a piano, even when the mind forgets why. the self is not a single thing. It is a chorus. Memory is the lead singer. But when it falls silent, the harmony does not cease. The bass line of temperament, the rhythm of habit, the melody of emotional response, they continue. You are not just your past. You are your presence. Your way of being in the world, moment to moment, even when the map is gone. So if memory fades, the self does not vanish. It simplifies. It returns to its roots. To sensation. To instinct. To the quiet, wordless hum of being alive. You are not your story. You are the storyteller. Even when the story is lost, the mirror shows the same face. The name on the documents hasn't changed. But beneath the surface, are you the same? Not in the way a rock is the same. Not in the way a mountain is the same. But in the way a river is the same, always flowing, always changing, always recognizable. Your body is a churn of cells, dying, renewing, rebuilding itself day by day. The calcium in your bones today was stardust yesterday. The oxygen in your blood was a tree's breath this morning. Your brain is a loom, constantly weaving and rewiring, new connections sparking, old ones fading, shaped by every experience, every thought, every feeling. Neuroplasticity is not a feature. It is the essence. You are not a fixed circuit. You are a living, breathing, ever-changing network. Your mind is a river of thoughts, some familiar, some strange, some returning like old friends, some vanishing like strangers on a train. So what remains? What is the thread of continuity? Perhaps it is not a thing. Perhaps it is a pattern. A constellation of traits, habits, and perspectives, held together by the gravity of your own awareness. It shifts. It evolves. But the pattern remains. You are not the same person. You are the next version. The river, flowing. The story, unfolding. The self, becoming. You are not losing yourself. You are finding yourself. Again. And again. And again. So let go of the need to be fixed. Let go of the need to be the same. You are not a monument. You are a melody. The choice feels real. The fork in the road. The pause before the word. The weight of decision in your chest. And into this quiet tension, we ask, is it yours? Or is it a story your brain tells you, after the fact? Neuroscience whispers unsettling truths. Brain scans can predict your choice seconds before you are consciously aware of making it. Your genes nudge you. Your upbringing shapes you. Your mood, your hormones, the flicker of a memory, they all conspire, beneath the surface, to guide your hand. The you that feels like the captain, may be more like the navigator, interpreting a course already set by winds you cannot see. But is that the whole story? Perhaps free will is not absolute control. Perhaps it is influence. A gentle pressure on the tiller. The ability to pause. To reflect. To choose, not the wind, but how you set your sails. You cannot choose your thoughts. But you can choose which ones to feed. You cannot choose your feelings. But you can choose how to respond to them. You cannot choose the hand you are dealt. But you can choose how to play it. Free will may not be the grand, uncaused cause. It may be a conversation. A dance between biology and awareness. Between fate and focus. So why ask this as you drift towards sleep? Because it invites you to release the burden of total control. You are not here to be the perfect captain. You are here to steer. Gently. Imperfectly. Beautifully. Let go of the need to be in charge of everything. You are not a puppet. You are a participant. The question doesn't knock. It seeps. It arrives not in the noise of the day, but in the velvet hush between heartbeats, when the world outside is quieted and the only sound left is the echo of your own existence. What is the meaning of life? Not your life. Not mine. But life. The whole impossible, breathing, suffering, laughing, dying, loving spectacle of it. The question feels heavy, ancient, carved into temple walls and whispered over campfires for as long as humans have drawn breath. And yet, in this moment, it is yours. Intimate. Immediate. Aching. Some hear it and reach for the stars, or the heavens. In the cradle of faith, meaning is given. It is a gift, a covenant, a divine purpose woven into the fabric of your being. You are here to serve. To love. To obey. To return. The universe is not random, it is a story, and you are a character written with intention, moving toward a sacred climax. The meaning is not found. It is received. And in that receiving, there is peace. Others hear the question and turn to the earth, to the soil, to the cell, to the slow, patient crawl of evolution. From this vantage, meaning is not bestowed. It is functional. The purpose of life is to survive. To replicate. To pass the fragile flame of DNA to the next trembling hand. The oak tree does not ask why it grows. The river does not question its course. They simply are. And in their being, they fulfill the only mandate biology recognizes: continue. But you are not an oak. You are not a river. You are the universe become aware of itself, and with that awareness comes the unbearable weight of the question. The oak does not lie awake at night wondering if its leaves have purpose. You do. And so, the third path opens, not upward to the divine, not downward to the biological, but inward. The existential path. Here, the universe offers no answers. It is silent. Indifferent. A vast, beautiful, terrifying machine grinding on without regard for your hopes or fears. And in that silence, a terrifying freedom blooms. If there is no pre-written meaning, then you are free to write your own. This is not a lazy relativism. It is a sacred responsibility. Meaning is not discovered like a buried treasure. It is built. Brick by brick. Choice by choice. Relationship by relationship. It is found in the warmth of a shared meal. In the quiet dedication of a craft mastered over decades. In the fierce, protective love for a child. In the stubborn act of kindness offered when no one is watching. In the creation of something beautiful, true, or useful, a song, a garden, a moment of understanding. Meaning is not a destination. It is a direction. A quality of attention. A way of moving through the world. It is the difference between merely existing and participating. You do not need a grand cosmic plan to live a meaningful life. You need only to show up. To pay attention. To care deeply, fiercely, imperfectly, for something outside yourself. A person. A cause. A piece of land. A question. A truth. The meaning of life is not a single answer whispered by the cosmos. It is 1,000 small answers, whispered by your own heart, in the quiet moments when you choose to love, to create, to connect, to endure. So let go of the need for a universal decree. Let go of the need for a divine signature. Your meaning is not out there, waiting to be found. It is in here, waiting to be lived. Breathe. And begin. The pressure is everywhere. Find your purpose. Live your purpose. Your purpose is your passion. Your purpose is your legacy. Your purpose is your reason for being. And into this relentless, modern drumbeat, we whisper a quieter, more radical question. Does life need a purpose to be valuable? Not your resume. Not your productivity. Not the size of your impact or the echo of your name. But the simple, quiet, undeniable fact of your being alive. Is that enough? Consider the flower. It does not toil. It does not spin. It does not strategize its bloom for maximum pollinator engagement. It simply opens. It drinks the sun. It sways in the wind. It exists. And in its existence, it is breathtakingly, undeniably valuable. Not because it serves a function, though it does, but because it is. Its value is inherent, unearned, unquestioned. Why, then, do we demand more of ourselves? Why must our value be tied to output, to achievement, to some grand, world-altering mission? Why can we not simply be? Purpose is a powerful thing. It organizes. It motivates. It gives direction to the chaos. A life lived with purpose can feel like a ship with a steady rudder, cutting through the waves with intention. It can be a source of profound resilience, a reason to get up when the world feels heavy. But purpose is not the only source of value. And for many, the relentless pursuit of it becomes a cage. A source of anxiety, of inadequacy, of the crushing feeling that if you haven't found your one true calling, your life is somehow less. Value is not always about direction. Sometimes, it is about presence. About the quality of the moment. The depth of the feeling. The authenticity of the connection. The laughter that shakes your whole body, leaving you breathless and aching. The quiet contentment of sitting in the sun with a cup of tea, doing absolutely nothing. The profound peace of holding a sleeping child. The simple, unadorned beauty of a perfectly ripe peach, juice running down your chin. These moments do not serve a grand purpose. They do not build empires or solve global crises. And yet, they are the very marrow of a life well lived. They are the quiet miracles that stitch together the fabric of our days. Value can be found in the living itself. In the experiencing. In the feeling. In the being. You do not need to justify your existence. You do not need to earn your right to take up space, to breathe the air, to feel the sun on your skin. Your value is not contingent on your productivity, your usefulness, or your ability to change the world. You are valuable because you are. Like the flower. Like the mountain. Like the star. So let go of the need to be purposeful. Let yourself be valuable. Simply. Quietly. Deeply. The world does not hand you meaning. It does not arrive gift-wrapped, tied with a bow, labeled your purpose. The search for meaning often feels like wandering through a vast, foggy landscape, hoping to stumble upon a signpost, a hidden temple, a revelation whispered on the wind. But what if you are the cartographer? What if meaning is not found, but forged? This is the quiet revolution of the human spirit, the understanding that meaning is not a pre-existing artifact, buried in the sands of time or etched into the stars. It is a creation. A verb, not a noun. Something you do, not something you find. Think of the artist, standing before a blank canvas. The meaning is not in the canvas. It is not in the paint. It is in the act of choosing the color, the stroke, the composition. It is in the courage to make a mark, to impose order on the void, to say, this matters. Think of the parent, rocking a crying infant in the deep hours of the night. The meaning is not in the exhaustion, the frustration, the sheer, overwhelming weight of responsibility. It is in the choice to show up. To soothe. To love, even when it is hard, even when it is thankless. It is in the quiet, daily act of building a world, one lullaby, one scraped knee, one bedtime story at a time. Think of the activist, marching in the rain for a cause that may not bear fruit in their lifetime. The meaning is not in the guarantee of victory. It is in the act of standing up, of saying, "This is wrong. I will not be silent." It is in the solidarity, the shared struggle, the refusal to accept the world as it is. Meaning is built in the spaces between people, in the bridges we build, in the wounds we heal, in the beauty we create, in the truths we speak, even when our voices shake. It is found in the commitment to a value, justice, compassion, curiosity, beauty, and the daily, often mundane, act of living that value out. It is not grand. It is not always glorious. It is often messy, imperfect, and fraught with doubt. But it is real. You do not need to wait for a sign. You do not need to discover a hidden truth. You can begin, right now. Pick up the pen. Rock the child. Speak the truth. Plant the seed. Offer the hand. Meaning is not a destination you arrive at. It is the path you walk. The choices you make. The love you give. The stand you take. It is the quiet, courageous act of creating something that matters to you. So begin. Create your meaning. One small, beautiful, defiant act at a time. The longing is ancient, primal. A whisper in the dark, is there a single, shining purpose for us all? A grand design, a cosmic blueprint, a reason for the whole magnificent, terrifying, beautiful mess of existence? Some say yes. In the heart of faith, the universe hums with intention. We are here to know the divine, to serve, to love one another, to prepare for an eternal home. The purpose is universal, written in sacred texts, echoed in the rituals of a billion hearts. It binds us. It gives us a shared story, a common destination. Science, in its cool, clear light, offers a different answer. There is no evidence of a universal purpose. The universe expands, stars burn, life evolves, not toward a goal, but according to laws of physics and chemistry. The oak tree does not grow to fulfill a cosmic quota. The river does not flow to reach a divine ocean. They simply are. Their purpose, if it can be called that, is local, biological, immediate, survive, replicate, adapt. And then, there is you. Sitting here, in the quiet dark, feeling the weight of your own existence. The universal answers, whether divine or scientific, can feel distant, abstract. They do not always touch the raw, personal ache of your own life. This is where the personal purpose blooms, not as a lesser thing, but as the only thing that can truly hold you. Your purpose is not written in the stars. It is written in your heart, in your hands, in your choices. It is the teacher who finds purpose in the spark of understanding in a student's eyes. It is the nurse who finds purpose in the gentle touch that eases a patient's fear. It is the artist who finds purpose in the color that captures a fleeting feeling. It is the friend who finds purpose in the quiet presence that says, "You are not alone." These purposes are not small. They are not insignificant. They are the very threads that weave the tapestry of human experience. They are the antidote to the vast, indifferent universe. They are the way we create meaning, connection, and value, right here, right now. There may be no single, universal purpose handed down from on high or emerging from the equations of physics. But there are a billion personal purposes, burning like candles in the dark. And sometimes, that is enough. You do not need to solve the riddle of the cosmos to live a purposeful life. You need only to find what makes your heart beat faster. What makes your hands want to create? What makes your spirit want to serve? Your purpose is not out there. It is in here. Waiting. Breathe. And begin. The question doesn't let go. It follows you. From the cradle to the grave. Why are we here? What does it all mean? Why do we search for meaning? It is not a flaw. It is not a weakness. It is the signature of your humanity. The universe, in its blind, beautiful unfolding, gave rise to a creature that looks back at it and asks, why? Other animals live. They eat. They sleep. They fight. They flee. They love, in their own way. But they do not lie awake at night, haunted by the abyss. They do not build cathedrals to house their wonder. They do not write poems to capture the ache of being. You do. This search is not a luxury. It is a necessity. A biological imperative, as deep as the need for food or shelter. Because meaning is not just a philosophical abstraction. It is a psychological anchor. A cognitive map. A way of navigating the terrifying, beautiful, chaotic storm of existence. Without meaning, the world is noise. A random, indifferent sequence of events. Birth. Suffering. Joy. Death. All of it, meaningless. And that is unbearable. So we search. We build stories. We create gods. We devise philosophies. We forge connections. We find purpose in work, in love, in art, in service. We look for patterns in the chaos. We seek coherence in the noise. We do this because meaning is survival. Not just physical survival, but existential survival. It is the raft we build to keep from drowning in the ocean of the unknown. It gives us a reason to get up in the morning when the world feels heavy. It gives us the strength to endure suffering when there is no other choice. It gives us the courage to love, even though we know it will end in loss. It gives us the hope to create, even when the darkness feels overwhelming. The search for meaning is the search for home. Not a physical place, but a psychic one. A place where we feel we belong. Where our existence feels right. Where the terrifying question of why finds, if not an answer, then at least, a resting place. So do not fear the search. Do not feel ashamed of the ache. It is the echo of your own depth. The signature of your own wonder. The universe may not give you answers. But it gave you the question. And in asking it, you are most alive. So let the search be your lullaby. Let it remind you that you are not a passive passenger on this wild ride. You are an active participant. A meaning maker. A weaver of stories. A builder of rafts. Rest now. In the beautiful, unanswerable heart of the question itself. Not everything that happens matters. Some moments slip through your fingers like sand, forgotten before the next breath. Others lodge in your bones, shaping you, defining you, becoming the quiet landmarks of your inner landscape. So what is the difference? What makes something meaningful? It is not size. A grand, world-changing event can feel hollow. A quiet, unnoticed moment can echo for a lifetime. It is not permanence. A fleeting glance, a single word, a shaft of sunlight through a window, these can be more meaningful than monuments built to last 1,000 years. Meaning is not inherent in the event. It is assigned. Woven. Created in the quiet alchemy of your own heart and mind. Psychologists point to 3 threads that, when woven together, create the fabric of meaning, coherence, purpose, and significance. Coherence is the thread of understanding. It is the feeling that this moment, this event, this person, fits. It makes sense within the larger story of your life. It is not a random, jarring note, but a harmony in the symphony of your existence. It answers the quiet question, how does this belong? Purpose is the thread of direction. It is the feeling that this moment is connected to something larger than itself. That it is a step on a path, a brick in a wall, a note in a song that is still being written. It answers the quiet question, where is this leading? Significance is the thread of weight. It is the feeling that this moment matters. That it has emotional resonance. That it touches something deep within you, your values, your loves, your fears, your hopes. It answers the quiet question, why does this feel so important? A handwritten letter from a friend, received on a hard day, can be deeply meaningful. It offers coherence, it fits the story of your friendship, purpose, it strengthens your bond, and significance, it makes you feel seen, loved, held. A quiet walk in the woods, with no agenda, can be deeply meaningful. It offers coherence, it fits your need for peace, purpose, it restores your spirit, and significance, it connects you to something larger than yourself, the earth, the sky, the quiet hum of life. Meaning is not found in the extraordinary. It is found in the ordinary, seen with extraordinary attention. It is found in the moments where you feel connected, to yourself, to others, to the world, to something beyond. So do not wait for the grand gesture. Do not wait for the cosmic sign. Meaning is waiting, in the next breath. In the next step. In the next quiet moment of presence. Look for the threads. Weave them. And let your life become meaningful. The world tells you to chase it. To grasp it. To hold it tight. Happiness. The golden idol. The promised land. The ultimate purpose of life. And into this relentless pursuit, we whisper a quieter, more complex truth. Is happiness really the point? Not joy. Not contentment. Not peace. But the relentless, often elusive, state of happiness, the constant, upbeat, Instagram-filtered glow that modern life seems to demand. Happiness is a beautiful feeling. A warm sunbeam on your skin. A burst of laughter that shakes your whole body. The quiet satisfaction of a job well done. These moments are gifts. They are to be cherished, savored, held close. But are they the purpose? Consider the parent, up all night with a sick child. Exhausted. Worried. Heartsick. There's no happiness here. Only love. Only duty. Only the fierce, protective fire that burns brighter than any fleeting feeling. Consider the artist, wrestling with a creation that refuses to be born. Frustrated. Doubtful. Pouring their soul onto the canvas, the page, the stage, not for the promise of joy, but for the need to express, to create, to say something true. Consider the activist, marching in the rain for a cause that may never triumph in their lifetime. Tired. Cold. Facing hostility. There's no happiness here. Only conviction. Only the stubborn, unyielding belief that this fight matters. These lives are not happy, in the narrow, feel-good sense of the word. And yet, they are profoundly meaningful. Profoundly purposeful. Happiness is a byproduct. A lovely, welcome byproduct of a life lived with depth, with connection, with purpose, with courage. It is the sunlight that glints off the surface of the deep, dark, beautiful ocean of your existence. It is not the ocean itself. The purpose of life is not to be happy. It is to be alive. Fully. Deeply. Authentically. To feel the full spectrum of human experience, the joy and the sorrow, the triumph and the loss, the peace and the struggle. To connect. To create. To love. To serve. To wonder. To grow. To participate in the magnificent, messy, heartbreaking, breathtaking story of being human. Happiness will come. It will go. It is a wave on the shore of your life. Do not build your house on the wave. Build it on the shore. On the deep, enduring bedrock of meaning. And when the wave of happiness crashes upon it, you will feel its joy. And when it recedes, you will still be standing. Whole. Grounded. Alive. So let go of the need to be happy. Let yourself be human. And in that humanity, you will find something deeper, richer, more enduring than happiness alone. You will find peace. Rest now. In the quiet, beautiful truth of your own unfolding life.